You are listening to the Take a Step podcast, where we are building the next generation of leaders. My name is Josh Johnston, and in this episode, we have got episode number 100. Episode number 100 of the Take a Step podcast. Man, it has been cool to see where this show has come from since the end of 2023 when we first came out with that episode that was recorded on a $10 Amazon mic where we read off our script into Apple Notes, into GarageBand, and to come from just that real, raw authenticity and maintain that same posture and how we approach these shows where it's authentic conversations, but it's just grown one step at a time to today. We're in May of 2026. And to hit that 100 episode milestone is just such a fulfilling feeling. And to continue it, we don't have anything special or extra fancy or different that we're doing today. We're just coming at you with another authentic conversation. And who better to have that conversation with than Take a Step's head of coaching and one of my best friends, John Sarzuski, where we sit down and have a conversation on a topic that so many people who listen to this show are probably navigating in their phase of life right now, and that is the beast of parenting. Excited for you guys to hear this conversation. With that said, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Take a Step podcast. Guys, today we were talking all things parenting, which is kind of ironic coming from two guys who are still in the midst of figuring out everything not to do so we can figure out what to do when it comes to parenting and being a husband at the same time, running a business at the same time. So with that said, hopefully you haven't tuned us out yet. Here with John Sarzuski again. John,
let's go.
How we feeling?
I'm feeling great. Girl dads, dude.
Girl dads. Yeah, so if you have a boy, go ahead and, find something else. Just kidding. It applies to all. No, so there's so many things that, like, so many directions we can go in when it comes to like how we navigate what it looks like to be an aspiring like young professional building a business, but then also like leading your home front well and being a model, being an example for your children and how to lead them in the direction you want to take them. What are your just like what are some of the things that you think about when it comes to the world of how do I lead my kids well?
Yeah. Well, there's not a manual for how to do it.
Yeah.
So we're just figuring it out along the process. And growing up, like, I thought my parents, they did an awesome job, but they were figuring it out for themselves and they were making plenty of mistakes along the way. So I'm encouraged by that. Is you're going to fail, but it's fail forward and figure it out. And the overlap, because we're talking to a lot of guys that are like stepping into entrepreneurship and business ownership, and there's so many overlaps there. And so often we put so much effort and planning and details into like our business front, and then our family it'll just work. And we don't bring the same intention into that. And what I've found is best is like actually set some standards, put some guardrails into your parenting, into being a husband and like getting unified with your wife, and those things will carry over. And I mean, we've had some success. My kids are awesome.
Yeah, man, they are. I can be a firsthand testimony to that. But I think, I love that you bring up that example, because I know so many dads when I was growing up where like they were driven when it came to their professional life. Like they would block out their calendars. They would take meetings, and they were like, they saw success in that. But it's like where you give your attention to is what's going to grow.
Yeah.
So if you give all your attention to business and then you're passive when it comes to your family, like what do you expect to happen? And I think a lot of people, especially fathers specifically, like they live this life and build themselves to be this person, and they focus so much on business and professional growth. But then when it comes to their family, they're passive, and they wonder why their kids don't embody the qualities that they want them to embody. Well, it's because they're setting a standard at home.
Yeah.
That's different than who they are in their day-to-day.
And I love that typically men, that first sin that a man did was passivity.
Yeah.
It was Adam sitting back watching Eve grab the apple. Like everybody says the first sin was Eve grabbing the apple, but no, it was Adam sitting back and watching it happen.
Yep.
And so often we do that on the home front. We see things that we're not crazy about, but we're too exhausted to lead the way that we should. And yeah, it takes a lot of intent. And I will say, man, the goalpost it's shifted. Going back 50 years ago, like what was deemed quote unquote like what a man needed to do was just provide.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were out there just hustling, and the home was for the wife, and that's shifted now. Like we're called and we're expected, or we should, to be present, to be there, be available, to lead the home front, to be emotionally available. Like it's a whole new world out there, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the thing is like it takes so much strength to be able to not only strength, but also just like the ability to stay disciplined and really embrace the process, because there are going to be so many ebbs and flows. Like I've been a dad now for 19 months and very short lived. So my experience is not very vast, but from what I've experienced over the past year and a half, man, there are some high highs and some low lows.
Can you
And
relate to this? So you said 19 months. Your wife got to like feel and to grow and just like be connected with your daughter for 9 months
yeah,
leading up to birthday. And I felt like my wife, when she was like, "Oh, come over, feel this kick." I'm like, "Okay, I know there's a baby in there, but cool." And
yeah,
I'd try to be there and be present in it, but it wasn't as real
yeah, for
that
sure.
it was for her. And then, man, like all the emotions hit the second I saw Ellie come out. I
Yeah,
was just like,
I for sure resonate with that because I felt like I had to like manufacture this excitement and level of connection that she was feeling because I wanted her to think that I was like there and engaged and present. But yeah, there was a level of like it's hard for me to relate to what you're going through and the level of connection that you're building because like you feel all of her
so
growth.
we're almost behind the ball, like as dads from the get go. Like we're 9 months, we're playing catch up.
Yeah. But it is true like that the day of for those of you that have experienced it is like when you first have that experience of like real world connection where you see and can feel and hold your baby, it's like the 9 months that you've heard her and seen her feel and talk about the connection she's
Oh,
experiencing,
just
it
hit.
hits you all at the same time. And man, dude, I don't know how anybody contains their emotions on that day.
Yeah,
It's
you were
pretty
probably an
crazy.
ugly crier, weren't
I was, I was,
you?
I was ridiculous. What do you think? What do you think? Some whether if it's husbands or wives, what do you think some people get wrong when they first start?
It's such a selfless job being a parent. I mean, it is just completely dying to yourself for this next little human that you're trying to grow. And I think first and foremost, I mean, it's the age old adage, like you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. So
Mm,
when the plane's going down, what's the first thing you do?
put your mask
Put
on.
the mask on first before you put it on, the kids sitting next to you. And I hear that on the plane. I'm like, yeah, there's no chance, dude. That plane starts going down, mask on my kids and then me. But I think like practically speaking, like that actually plays true to your daily rhythms. So I'm completely selfish with the first 90 minutes of my day so I can be completely selfless with the rest of the day. So that's like for dads, get up early. Like get up early, get time in the word, get a workout in and like ground yourself. So that way you've already had your me time. Like I've had a cup of coffee, time in the word, and a workout before 6 a.m. Now it's time to go out there and just to love my family well, lead my business well, and be available up until bath time, bedtime, and then do it again. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, take care of yourself before you take care of others, because a lot of parents go through that where
Mm-hmm.
there's like, okay, I don't have time to work out anymore. I don't have time for me. Like, no, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
And for husbands, when you can be detailed and you can live according to certain standards where you're just getting stuff done, you're effective, then carve in that time for your wife to be like, hey, get out whatever fills her. Like for my wife, it's getting her nails done. She loves doing that. So I'll put it on my calendar. I'll get the gift card and I'll say, hey, I'm taking the kids out. Here's a gift card. Go get your nails done. And by doing that, if I didn't do that for her, she would never do it for herself
Mm-hmm.
because she feels like a level of mom guilt to go out there and step away from the family to do that. So it's like as spiritual leaders and as leaders of your house, we're called to provide. And a lot of people think that just means money. Like you're called to go out there and make the money. You're also called to provide like the emotional space, the mental capacity for her to get out there and like know who she is.
Yeah, and there's a great point that you have with that is like she's not going to ask for herself, and that's very true with with my wife where it's like I fall victim a lot to waiting for her to ask for the help, the time, the space, the opportunities to go do whatever she wants to do. When I know that it would be so much more impactful for her if I just made the decision for her. Not a bad way of like that she needs me to make a decision for her, but say, hey, I've gone ahead and I've created the opportunity for you to be able to go and do what I know you want to do, but you're not always going to ask to go do it.
And then be mindful of how you're saying that.
Yeah.
I've made the mistake where I'm like, hey, you need this. I can tell you're stressed. Get out there and do this. Like that never turns out well. It's more doing it from a giving, loving heart.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I see all the work you're doing. I would love to like take the kids out to the park for a couple hours and just give you some you time. Like that is so, so valuable.
Yeah.
I think next in parenting, like remembering that your marriage comes first.
For sure.
So like, oh, it's so hard because every time it's the second I open the garage, I see the door open and 3 little sweetheart little girls come running out to the car and they're jumping up at me like, daddy, daddy. And I literally will just like stiff arm them out of the way so I can go there and hug my wife first.
Yeah.
Because they need to see that from the get-go. Like, no, hey, this was here before you and it will last up until my last breath. Like my wife comes first. And then the second I get that good hug and that good kiss, then I'm on the ground and they're hugging me and kissing me. But like always remember your marriage comes first.
Why do you think that's so important? Specifically for dads.
Because it's easy to lose it. It's easy to lose it. And like, think about all the stages. Like you see people going into those empty nest seasons. Right now, that sounds glorious. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get to that point. But I'm learning to be present and to enjoy every struggle along the way. So that's a different talking point. But like, remember, like she's there from the get go, and she'll be there till the end. And the kids, it's our job as parents to render ourselves obsolete. It's your job as a dad to make it to where your daughter does not need you anymore. And so you're essentially working yourself out of a job.
Yeah.
Your marriage, no, that's your retirement. That's there forever. And so many people, when the kids leave and they don't know who each other is anymore, they don't have hobbies and interests of their own because they sacrificed all of that. What do?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've heard a lot of people talk about this before is like, imagine doing that, having that dynamic when you get home for your daughter's entire lives. Like they see you come home, go to Christina and then go to them and go to Christina and then go to them. As they grow up and as they start looking for a man that they want to pursue, don't you think that they're going to want to find somebody who's going to prioritize them above everything else? Like you are embodying what it looks like for a husband to love their wife.
That's it. So we're setting the standard.
Yeah.
And we have to emulate that standard.
Yeah.
It's so easy to talk a big game, but are you living it out? And your kids, man, they pick up on every little thing you do.
Yeah.
They're not listening, but they're watching.
Yeah.
And I remember that before they can talk and they're just sitting there with that little bobblehead and you're like, oh, they know nothing that's going on.
Yeah.
And the second they start talking, you're like, oh, wow, you saw what I did there. Okay. So it forces us to like do a lot of self-reflection and to actually live out the standards that we're trying to set.
Which oftentimes for me, I'm starting to realize, and for some of my friends I've seen, it kind of comes back to bite them at times because their kids will embody something that they wouldn't tell them, but they're just doing something by the way they acted. Like if they naturally respond out of aggression and like bang their fist, and then something happens and their kids like bang their fist and start screaming. It's like, well, they're just a walking representation of what they've picked up on you throughout how you deal with your stress.
And the funny thing is it's almost like cute the first time they do it. And then they do it in front of your friends or your family, or like you're in front of somebody that you're trying to quote unquote impress and they're doing it. You're like, okay, it's not cute anymore.
Yeah.
And then when you start having multiple kids, so going back to like setting the standard, my wife, she's not messy, but when she comes home, like her thing was just, oh, just kick my shoes off. Not put them away, just kick them off. When there's one set of shoes in the house, it's not cluttered. It's not that big of a deal. I can even put them away for her. Then you have 3 daughters and they're all picking up on that same habit. All of a sudden, if every time they walk in, they're all putting a bag down somewhere else, they're all kicking their shoes in the living room.
Yeah.
Dude, you're living in clutter.
Yeah.
So like it's forced us to be detailed on our little habits and to set a better standard so then they emulate it.
Yeah. I had a buddy I played college ball with call me last year. He and his wife were pregnant with their first, and he was overweight. And he called me and was like, Josh, man, I'd love just to kind of pick your brain on some good healthy habits that I can start implementing, because I've accepted my standard to be okay with myself for so long. And they were having a daughter, and he was like, I cannot give my daughter the impression that I'm okay with this,
Yeah.
because like I'm going to be a representation for what a man is to her. And it was the last person I would have expected to call me with that. And it's crazy how kids and like the design that God's blessed us to have when it comes to procreation just like completely changes your perspective on life, on the power of life, on your own personal standard. You know what I mean?
One thing that just, it sits in the back of my head constantly, your sons will become you and your daughters will marry a version of you.
Yeah.
So that young man that she brings home that I have to meet, am I going to be proud if he's a representation of me? And that just fires me up.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have a work ethic. I want to have a drive. I want to show love to my wife, to my kids in a way that, like, if a version of that comes home, I am proud to look that man in the eye and shake his hand.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't come home with a 145-pound walking beansstick.
Yeah. And guys, like, if you're, I make sure that my bench press is so impressive that my daughter will never gawk at some 135 bench press. Some little kid's trying to impress her with that. She's gonna laugh and be like, "Oh, look what my dad can do."
Yeah.
But definitely setting the standard. Going back to marriage comes first. One thing that we've implemented that has been huge, it's been the biggest game changer, is doing a weekly meeting, my wife and I.
Yeah.
So we do it every Sunday. It's sometimes it's like, before the kids wake up, we'll get coffee where it's just her and I intentionally. Other times it might be, once the kids go down, and we make sure that we have this because it sets the standard for the week. So it goes through a couple of different things. One, we talk about green. So what's our money? What's in the bank accounts? What are some big bills coming up? Like, if you're the financial leader of the house, typically there's one person that knows the finances and one person that has no clue.
Yeah.
And the person that knows it is like subconsciously kind of stressing over all the Amazon packages that are coming in. But if it's not communicated, like, why not?
Yeah.
So going through bills and finances is huge. We then take a moment of gratitude. So it's a chance that I can just look and like affirm things that I've seen in my wife throughout the week, and then vice versa. So it kind of softens the tone for the rest of the meeting. After we do gratitude, then we go through grievances. So having a weekly touch point on the calendar where your wife can tell you all the things that you did wrong that week, and then also vice versa, it's huge. Because that way, these little things that didn't matter, it wasn't big enough that I had to address it.
They don't spill over throughout the week.
But it starts to bottle up. And then eventually you have that fight where it's like, I thought we were talking about the dishes.
Yeah, I didn't know you were keeping score on things from 2 months ago. Yeah.
So it's like being able to get that out has been incredible. So go through green, gratitude, grievances, goals for the week. And then we go into our schedule. So I'll share my schedule. And vice versa. We then get on the same page, parenting. So parenting, like, what is one thing that we're going to be a unified front on that we're going to tackle? And that will switch every week, but it's like kids will pick you apart.
Yeah. So
if your daughter learns that if she goes to you for cookies, you say no, but then she goes to mom and she says yes, she's just going to keep going to mom and getting cookies. If you guys together combine, we're like, hey, this week we need to cut out sweets. All of a sudden, mom's going to say no to the sweets because you guys know that you're unified on that. So that can be anywhere from table manners, from diet, from like, are they making their bed every morning? And that will switch as the kids get older. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes it's juvenile little things, but it will continue to grow. So knowing that you're like tackling one little thing at a time, it breeds into great, stellar little humans. but being unified on those fronts has been so huge.
Yeah, when you're making those decisions on like parenting, what that's going to look like, whether if it's this week, this month, this year, just indefinitely, how do you like? Is there a like? What's the foundation for that? Is there a mission? Is it values? Like how do you keep both of you guys aligned as a household on that?
Yeah, so I think having like a family mission statement or core values as a
Yeah.
family, it's pivotal.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, that will mature as your kids get older. But think about, like, every business has something that they're working towards. Like when you
Yeah,
get
for
hired on a
sure.
company, or if you're starting your own, like the first thing they always say is like, okay, what's your mission statement? If you do it for your business, why would you not do it for your family?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to last generations. Your business, it might tank in 3 years. So like all that effort you're putting into that, like carry it over to the home front. For my girls, we've got 3 rules that they've carried over from 2 up until like 7 years old. And this will mature as they get older. But right now it's listen the first time, be respectful, and then have some fun. And it's such a good thing that they've ingrained that in their memory. So if I see them acting a fool, they're not listening, I'll stop them and I'll say, hey, Ellie, what do we stand for? Listen the first time, be respectful, have some fun. I'm like, okay, are we doing that? No, sir. Great. Just got her back to like focus.
Yeah.
So figuring out what that is for your family, and then also make it fit your kid's age. Like Emmy, I mean, at 19 months old,
Yeah.
you're not going to make some rattled out, like polished mission statement for the Johnstons, because
Yeah.
that's not going to carry over.
Well, the funny thing is like that's the kind of stuff I was looking forward to about being a dad. And I like my mind, like every time I thought about being a dad before we had Emmy, my mind would always jump to age like 5, 6, 7, once they're starting to like be able to get molded. But like for some reason, I never thought about like complete adolescence when they have no ability to comprehend anything. So yeah, it had to be this like huge dynamic shift. I'm like, oh no, it's just presence and being self-sacrificial, which I'm not a expert at all, which I'm learning every single day. But
going back to that, choosing the struggle, like we do it in our 8-step process, being present and enjoying every struggle along the journey makes it so much more
for sure
fruitful and just enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Like so often we're looking to the next milestone and it happens from day one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't wait until this kid can like sit up and hold their head up. I can't wait for that. And you're missing out on like 6 months of just greatness because you're looking forward to that next step. Then you're looking, I can't wait till they're crawling. Then they start crawling. You can't wait till they're walking. Then you can't wait for them to talk. And all these things, we're always waiting for the next thing instead of just enjoying right now where they're at. And how often do we do that with our business front as well? Like, oh, I can't wait till I hit this revenue target.
Yeah.
Or I can't wait to get this promotion. When I get that, I'm going to feel some kind of way. No, dude, just enjoy where you're at right now and the grind of the growth, because that's ultimately what we're doing with kids.
It's like for me, it's like, can't wait till we hit 10,000 listeners a month on the podcast. Can't wait till we have 100 members in the tribe.
Follow.
Yeah, subscribe, follow, like, comment, everything. But yeah, you have these metrics that when we've talked about it before, when we talk about guys like Tom Brady and we've referenced his 60 Minutes interview before, where it's like there's no next thing. There's no goal in life that's going to fulfill you, whether if it's parenting, whether if it's business, whether if it's fitness, which is why like really embracing the process and finding the process that you love is so vital. And man, there's never been a process or an experience in my life that's been more fulfilling than the ebbs and flows of being a father.
That's beautiful.
You know,
last thing I'd love to talk is teaching them ownership. So like a lot of families, they might just do like chores and then allowances for those chores. I don't think that fully embodies ownership of something. The beautiful thing with parenting is there's so much overlap to actually running a business. So encouragement to all dads out there, if you have an idea about starting a business, you are more than capable because you have the skill set. If you're leading a family, you can get out there and do it. And there's a difference with ownership where, think about the analogy of like holding something or handing it. Like, am I holding on to a task? If I tell you to do something and I'm like, okay, here's how you need to do it, and I'm giving you every little detail, and then I'm over your back watching you, I'm still holding on to that.
Yeah.
Instead of handing it over to you and saying, hey, this is what I need done, figure it out. Like, you can give them some guardrails and some ideas and some processes on how to do that. but ultimately you're giving them like ownership of that task. And when a problem comes about, like it's their job to figure it out and to get it done.
Yeah.
And that ownership side is so huge. So what we've done with our family, we've set a list of expectations. Like you're living in this house, you're part of our family. Like this is how I expect you to operate. And some people might refer to those as chores. I just think it's like, this is just the standard that we have set.
Mm.
So for our girls at age 6 and 8, they need to make their beds. They need to leave every room better than when they found it. So go out there and play in the basement, pull out every toy if you want. But before you leave that basement, you're putting it back better than when you found it.
Mm.
They got to feed their animals and then clear their plates. Like pretty standard.
Yeah.
So that is the standard that they need to do. Now, on top of that, if they want to look for ways to like add value to themselves and also our household, we have a revolving list of what we call gigs or jobs. So we type it out, we put it on the fridge. So in their spare time and their free time, if they want to go and like make some money, they can look at ways that I have perceived that would add value to them or our household, and they can take on these jobs. Now these, like, because I want them to have this entrepreneur brain of like, you don't need to just be a task follower and a worker. Like look for ways in this world that if there's a problem, there's something like a solution that you have, get out there and do it.
Yeah.
So those value add, an example of some of those things. Some basic household chores, I guess, would be like cleaning the cars, organizing a communal room. So like living room, shoe closet, like if they go and they organize that, I'll reward them. But on top of that, like I also want them to grow and not only like intellectually, but also like spiritually. So if they read a chapter book and give a book report presentation to the family, they get rewarded. If they memorize a Bible verse and explain it to us at dinner, like I'll reward them for those things. So it's all these different ways that my wife and I get to sit down and be like, okay, what are some fun jobs that we can give them that would add value? And then they go out and they conquer it. That dangling that in front of them has made the standard like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So when the first week that we rolled this out, dude, those beds were made by 7 a.m. They're dressed and ready to go. They're like, Daddy, you made my bed. I'm like, okay, good. That's the standard. And then they're putting their plates away. They're doing all the things because they're little entrepreneurs. They want to get out there and they want to make some money.
Yeah.
But kind of a cool strategy. I heard that Lewis House was talking about that and we've implemented. And sometimes you hear things and you're like, okay, that sounds fluff. Dude, this one works.
How do you handle it when it's like the same thing with a lot of people who have this new entrepreneurial idea? They'll get out and they'll be like all in for a period of time. How do you handle it when that starts to dwindle?
It's the follow through. It's exciting right now. Like with everything, like how often have you chased something that's exciting and then the second it becomes not exciting and monotonous, you're like, all right, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
Are we teaching our kids that, or are we teaching them the follow through? So we're on it now. We're not going to stop.
Let's go. I love it, man.
Yeah,
dude, powerful stuff today.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's so much there. Like this, there's no, like you said, there's no manual. There's no one way to do it. Anyone that tells you and gives you their opinion on how they are doing it is coming at it from their perspective of what works for their family, and every family's different. So find out what works for your family. But that I think the key is like you've got to be intentional about like what that's going to look like. You can't just like coast as a parent. You can't just, passively go through life at home, but you're, proactive in another area. Like if you want your kids to grow up and be who you want them to be, it takes intentional work. It's not just going to happen by itself.
Let's talk through some parenting fails real quick.
Okay, let's do it.
Sign off this.
Yeah. God,
what are some of like I'm going to throw my wife under the bus on this one. So with our first daughter, she was probably like 2 months old and she's sleeping, and Christina wanted to cut her nails, and she didn't know they made those nail clippers with like that files them down.
Yeah.
So she just grabbed a set of nail clippers, and this little thing is just angelically sleeping, and Christina goes there and she's clipping the nails. She clipped a little too far on the middle finger and just took a layer of skin off.
Oh.
So imagine Ellie, she's laying there, sweet dreams as a newborn, and dude, she just wakes up like just these screams were so bad. And then me as an idiot husband comes in there like, what did you do? I'm like getting mad at my wife because I'm protecting my baby. So huge parenting fail there. And I've learned from that mistake. So that was a good one.
I'll take one. I have two, but one of them, it was like one of the first times Jaden left me for a day
yeah.
with her, because I mean, Emmy was very attached. I mean, she was like solely breastfed, and that led to just some like serious attachment issues. But the first time Jaden was like, all right, you got her. I'm like, absolutely, I got her. Like, I'll be fine. I gave her a bath before I was putting her down, and like got her out of the bath, dried her off, and I had her on top of our bed where I was going to change her diaper. And she's like, this little cute naked baby stands up on the bed, and you're like, I'm laughing. It's hilarious. And then all of a sudden she just like out of nowhere, like sprawls backwards and completely launches herself off the back of the bed, like completely pancakes on the floor. It's like rattles the floor. I'm like, I thought she was concussed. I thought we were going to go to the ER. So she starts screaming. I pick her up, and I'm like walking down the hall, making sure everything's okay. And she starts to stop crying. And I'm like, okay, we're good. Immediate throw up all over me. And I'm like, now all of my clothes are soaked. And she starts crying again. And I'm like, whatever happens, I'm not calling Jaden with this. I'm not calling Jaden with this. So yeah, just not very intentional with my.
They're resilient.
Yeah,
things,
dude.
though. You think they're so fragile? Like,
oh, she's good.
Yeah, she's great.
She's taken a fall a time or two.
A personal one, and this is why I love parenting, because this is actually what like really launched me into realizing like there's got to be something more to this, and doing some self-reflecting on just life in general and like getting my priorities in line. But I remember it was one of the first times Christina left me alone with Ellie.
Okay.
And I'm trying to do all the things, and I just remember being stressed out with work, exhausted because I was just overexerting myself in that capacity. And this little 4-month-old baby is just looking at me, just screaming, crying. And everything I'm doing, I mean, bottle, rocking her, clean diaper. I'm like, no, like, you got to stop. And I remember looking at her like, starting to like tear up. I'm like, dude, you got to just stop screaming. I can't fix this. And I finally just had to set her down. And I just sat there like broken. And I was like, I don't know what to do. This is the first time I come across a problem. Like, I don't know how to fix this. And I decided to sit there and let her cry, as I couldn't solve that.
That's happened so many times.
But it was
for me.
I felt something inside of me. I'm like, dude, I'm so stressed out right now. If I don't get my priorities in order, like, this can't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the kid can't scream again, because that's going to happen. You're not going to be able to get her to stop crying. That will happen 100 times. But it was more like how it was affecting me at my core.
Yeah.
I was like, man, something's got to switch. And ultimately, that's the moment that kind of transpired us selling our business, moving, relocating, like, and getting grounded.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, praise God that like kids bring that out of you.
Yeah, seriously, 100%, dude. The last one I'll say, Jaden will kill me for this the rest of my life, but we my first ultra marathon I signed up for, made the brilliant move. So Emmy was born September of 2023. My first ultra marathon was December of 2023.
Oh, smart.
So just like peak training is like, hey, I know you're due in 3 days, but I need to get 15 miles in this morning. So looking back in the moment, I was so like, no, these are my goals. This is what I was disciplined to. And now I look back, I'm like, dude, what was I thinking? And then I like, yeah, that now every time I mention a race, ultra marathon or anything, Jaden gets PTSD, and she's like, no, absolutely not. So that's that. I shot myself in the foot there. But guys, great advice. Great. There's just so much that you could take this conversation 1,000 different ways, but at the end of the day, it's all about intentionality. Like, if you like be intentional about like, what's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What like, who do you want your kids to be? How are you showing up as a husband? Like, if you're actively thinking about how you can show up better in these areas, like that's the key. Because like you said, there's no manual, there's no one way to do it. But I
want to add one more thing, and it's arguably the most important. As dads, we want to be that superhuman figure for your kids. I want my kids to look up to me and know that like they're safe with me, that I can go out there and conquer the world. And I want them to feel that. Um, but ultimately we can't be
Mm,
that superhuman figure.
yeah.
And the best day I've ever had with my daughter, my 8-year-old, was when I got to baptize her. Cause I've been able to disciple her and lead her to that relationship with
Mm,
Christ. And ultimately that came from me not trying to be Superman. And when we make mistakes, apologize
yeah.
and show them that we aren't perfect. And every time that I make a mistake and I have to go to my kids and sit down with a 6-year-old and apologize, like be quick to do that. And then I tie it back. I say, hey, daddy's not perfect, but who's the only one perfect person? Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, that's right. So I will let you down. As a dad, I'm going to let you down time and time again.
Yeah.
But guess who's not? Guess who will never let you down? So I think as fathers, that's the most important thing, because we can try to do the family values, we can try to do all these things, but like ultimately, if there's not that heart pull in that relationship, like that's what we need to do as fathers.
Yeah. What better way to tie bow on this episode? And like everything relates back to how are you being Christ-like and like having an example for that at the head of the household. So, man, great episode, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating on whichever platform you're listening. And always remember, no matter where you are on your growth journey, every mile begins with a step.
In a squat, it's leg day. Let's go.
Gosh, let's go.